the wind and all that, it does affect you, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, we have a massive sale area, even with all of our sales filled like this.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how much stuff there is to one side.
There's a lot of drag.
Yeah.
I love it.
I didn't see that this was the only event.
All right, how y'all?
Want some bookmarks?
Sure,
There we
man.
go.
Thank you.
Information on the back there.
Heck
too.
yeah.
Yeah, no problem. How you guys doing this morning?
My dad sailed around the world on this boat in 1953.
Oh wow. Was
That's-
he was in the Coast Guard?
Yeah, he was in the Coast Guard. He did what they called a friendship tour, something like that's what they called it. And he was part of that in 53.
That's awesome.
It's the greatest experience of his life. And I've always wanted to see it, man.
Sure. Well, we're
All
happy
right.
to have you. Have you out.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a great day, all
Yeah,
right?
you too. Enjoy the tour, guys.
Watch out for that.
Welcome aboard. Eagle was built, as I'm sure you remember, in 1936.
36.
We acquired her in 1945 post World War II. Fixed her up and then rechristened her the Eagle in 1946. In 1946, she made her first sail under the American flag, came all the way across the Atlantic before coming to her new home in New London, Connecticut.
Wow. God, that's a lot of ship. Going in all directions. Yeah, it is.
So this is our foremast. This is one of our two skeleton masts on board. And then we have our third final fore and aft mast all the way in the back. So with this, that's climb up, unfurl the sails, and then down on deck, pull all these lines together. So place Wow.
How long you been on board now?
This is my fourth summer on board.
Fourth
so
summer.
in total, I think I'm probably at 13 weeks right now.
Very
So,
cool.
it's
Very
been
cool.
fun.
Very cool.
And then over here, you can see our two anchor windlasses. They are actually the only mechanized stuff on deck right now. So everything else we still do by hand. We still lower and hoist our small boats by hand. We do all of the sails by hand.
Yep.
Everything below decks is pretty modernized. We do have an engine. We do have, electronics and stuff like that. But up on deck, this is the only thing we don't do by hand.
My father said when he sailed around the world in 53 on this ship, there was no motor.
I think so.
Because I think he said it was added in like the early 60s is when it was added. But I don't know if that's true, to be honest with you. I don't know.
So I think we did replace the motor in the early 60s. That's when we went from the original German motor to closer to what we have on board. I think this is our third or fourth motor.
Okay.
Not an engineer, so I can't really speak to it too much.
No, I get it too.
But when they were sailing around the world, they actually wouldn't have been able to use the engine all the time.
Right.
They would have had to, bless you, they would have had to go mostly under sail power. Just because we don't have the capacity for fuel on board to make it all the way around the world.
Sure.
So, when we're sailing from, Pensacola to here, we can use our motor. We did try to sail, but we can use our motor.
Well, y'all can go through the Panama Canal, can't you?
We can, yes. We did it last year.
When he did it, you couldn't go through the Panama Canal. So they had to go around the tip of South America. And
Yeah.
I know you know how bad that is.
Yes, yeah.
That's one of the worst places on the face of planet Earth.
Yeah.
He said it was 6 weeks of hell on this ship.
I bet.
I can't imagine. He said I wouldn't have done it in anything smaller. He goes, that's
Yeah.
just suicidal.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a really good ship. She can withstand a lot, so.
I really love
Sure,
it.
it wasn't pleasant, but it was definitely safe.
Now, this originally was a German ship, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yes. I know a little bit of the history of this ship.
Yep, so she's built by Blumenbach Shipyard in 1936.
In 36, yeah. I love it.
I'll start taking you down below.
All right. Can you carry that? believe that. I believe. Well, that's one of those things my dad always said is, you're going to be at sea. They got to feed you.
Yes.
And in fact, he always said you got fed pretty good, so that wasn't an issue.
Really good.
The other thing my father said was, he said, I never shined so much brass in my life. And I'm looking around at all of the brass around here.
Yep.
My Lord, there's a
We
bunch of it.
shine all of it.
I bet you do. Well,
This is the main mast. This is our final square rig mast.
Uh-huh.
It stands 147 feet from the deck, so approximately 163 feet from the keel.
really?
So, yeah,
I
she's
love
pretty
it.
tall.
How many crew members do y'all have?
We have 60 permanent TUI crew members and 147 cadets. Example of a lot of the different things that you'll see on board. So this is Foggy Wrinkle. You might have noticed it up on the radar and some of the wires and cables and lines. So we put this on our standing rigging. Standing rigging is anything that we can't handle from on deck.
Right.
And this is to keep the sails from chafing. So when we're at full sail, they'll beat
Right.
up against a lot of the lines and cables. So this prevents them from wearing through too quickly.
Right.
And then this is how we preserve all of our standing rigging. So you'll see a lot of it behind you. I guess we're still a little bit too low. You can see it over there on the shrouds leading all the way up to the top of the mast. So
Okay.
it does start with a bare wire cable, and then we'll work in either some, it depends on which vessel.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what we use on board, but a lot of people use a very thin cable, natural fiber, sometimes even leather or something like that,
Yeah.
just to fill in the gaps here. And then parceling, they'll cover it with a canvas or sailcloth, and then wrap it with more small, forget what it's called. It's very similar
Yeah.
to twine. Yeah, we use it for like glasses and water bottles and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they'll cover it in tar, so that makes it wind and waterproof.
Right.
That's a good thing. Good thing.
When I was a kid, my dad still had his one like that right there,
Yeah. So we
and
actually
he could operate it. He could
Yeah.
find out where he was with it.
So we do actually still use sextants on board.
I know that. I know that actually. In fact, submarines use sextants. Technically,
Yeah,
it's a
lot
different
of,
kind of sextant, but they still use it.
Yeah, a lot of vessels, at least in the Coast Guard, are starting to bring them back just so people can get more
You know,
ways to figure out where they are.
when all the electricity goes out, that still works.
Yes, it does. And then, so over here is going to answer your engine questions better than I can.
Okay.
So it did have a stereotypical German, I believe it was actually a submarine, yes, it was a submarine engine on board for a couple years. And then we did replace it with a 16-cylinder Caterpillar. And then we more recently replaced it with the 1,000 horsepower 8 So,
Those are all great engines, man. They run forever. My dad, by the way, was a boatswain's mate.
oh, okay.
That's what he did.
All right, yeah. So he knew everything there is to know about
Well,
the sail.
see, I've always kind of wondered about that. What I know you have to learn each discipline, right? Each different aspect of the ship. So you can run the ship, essentially, right?
I run the cadets.
You run, okay.
So I am a topman. Topman means I've certified on all of the pin rails.
Uh-huh.
So I know what all of the lines on board do.
Yeah.
And then I also know how to handle all of the sails. Since I'm CIC, I'm usually on charge on deck being safety. So I haven't gotten to climb it all this year, but we'll see. Maybe next week.
Is it fun?
Very cool.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It sounds like fun.
All right. We'll take you inside.
Don't trip. I have an odd request.
Yes.
My father was in bunk number 95. I don't even know if they're still done that way. I don't know if
Not
you've changed
anymore.
them or whatever.
Yeah, we changed it
Yeah.
in the 70s once we started welcoming women into the academy, since
That
this
one
is a training
was.
vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of the berthings changed by then.
That's a shame. that was the one thing I wanted to see.
I'm sorry.
That one. That's all right. That's all right. All right, where are we going?
All right, so we'll start right in here. So this is the original nameplate. Oh, this is the Guard, or we changed the name. So she is now the 7th Coast Guard Cutter Eagle. We've had 6 previous. These are different plaques and commemorative things that we've gotten from the different op sales. So our last really big one was op sale 76. So that was to celebrate the
I remember it very well.
But we will be surpassing that this year, so I'm super excited. And then another one that I think is really cool is Op Sail 86. So that's when we actually sailed all the way across the Pacific to Australia to celebrate their bicentennial.
Wow, that's cool. That's way cool.
I was just trying to see if next year.
So are we going that way?
Come on in.
This is gorgeous.
How y'all doing?
Kind of overwhelmed.
Sorry, you can move down and try to get a whole group.
We're in New Orleans. Get past more easily.
Where it's hot.
No doubt.
Keep on going.
Like
No doubt. Here, scoot on down, man. Yeah, if you're 6'2", it's going to be a problem right now. 6'5".
So this is where officers dine, have briefs, so weather briefs, navigation briefs. Usually we have it up. We don't have it up right now, but there's usually an electronic chart up there, just so they can maintain some situational awareness.
Sure.
Or if if a certain cadet is up on the bridge and somehow gets 30 degrees off track, they can all laugh at me in the middle of dinner. That totally didn't happen. And then over here are some different things that we've received from other countries, or other U.S. ships as well. So we've got the Intrepid. I don't believe it's up right now. We did have a Bermuda Triangle from Bermuda, which was just a glass triangle that someone gifted us. We do have the ship's chronometer as well, and then commemorative things from D-Day and different vessels that we've met as well.
This ship wasn't involved in D-Day, was it?
No, she was not. She was still under German.
Oh, that's right. We got. I'm sorry.
Although,
I didn't think that sounded right anyhow.
although she did actually shoot down 3 aircraft during World War II, one of which was German because he was using the wrong codes. So, bit of an expensive mistake there, but oh well.
That's funny.
Then here you can still see one of our sextants. So we no longer use metal sextants on board. We use child-safe 3D printed ones instead. We have a lot of cadets running around all the time. A lot of people learning how to handle it.
That one looked identical to the one my dad had. Absolutely identical to it.
That's crazy.
And I don't even know where he got it. He had to have gotten it here. Where else would you get one?
Some old, I know some maritime shops still carry some of them, but
I guess
honestly,
so.
I think you would be hard pressed to find a really good quality one these days, unfortunately.
Now,
But
I tell you, the other thing that we had when I was small, my dad had his whistle. He would blow reveille, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. That was common in my house. I love it.
Yeah,
But
my dad was raised by a Marine, so I think I learned all of the wake-up songs.
There you
Slightly
go.
watered down, of course, for
Yep.
5-year-old ears, but.
I love it.
And then over here we have a painting that was gifted to us by, I believe, the son of the final German commanding officer on board.
Really?
It is usually very hard for me. It was gifted in 2005. Sorry. Okay, so I believe it's the son of the final commanding officer. So he painted this, how Eagle would have looked in a war-torn Bremerhaven when Captain McGowan, the first American commanding officer, found her.
Wow.
So, as you can see, Bremerhaven was entirely decimated.
Yes.
It was.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that one was not.
Eagle was barely still floating. A lot of her sails and rigging and everything else on board had been taken and repurposed in the latter years of the war, and she wasn't very well taken care of.
Yeah.
However, when we found her, she still had her crew on board. They had nowhere else to go. There was no food or shelter or safety in Bremerhaven, but there was a modicum of it on board Eagle. So they stayed on board, and the Americans thought that we were going to, have them help fix her up and then kick them off and sail over. And they realized that no one in America had sailed a tall ship in a few years. So they invited
Exactly.
they invited the
Exactly.
German crew to stay on board with them and sail across the Atlantic.
That's cool. I did not know that. That's very cool.
So it was a pretty good cooperative.
Well, it was what you call a war prize, isn't it? Essentially,
was,
from
yeah.
World War One.
World War II. Yeah, we
Was
acquired.
it World War Two? Okay, okay.
We acquired her
I
and her
always thought it was
sisters in
World
World
War
War II.
Hitler said, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, we kind of just went, ooh, that's shiny, we're taking it. And then over here are two images that still exist from the days where she was a German vessel. So these are the German cadets on board training. This is actually the ribbon from one of their covers. And then over here is most likely what's now our mess deck. So as I said, once we started welcoming women into the academy and into the fleet, we had to change up the berthings a little bit so that everyone had a place to sleep.
Sure.
But back before then, everyone would put their hammock up on the mess deck in the night, and then in the morning they would take it down, and that would be used as a training space, an eating space, anything else. But now it is just our mess deck. We do occasionally hold meetings and trainings there as well. But
When did they start letting people go?
I'm not sure when our first female crew member was. I know it was prior to cadets, female cadets going to the academy, because we had a couple OCS and OCS officers, so that's officer commissioning school. So you were still able to enlist, and then they would commission from there. But I'm not sure of the exact year. But we did have our first female cadets on board in 72, I believe, 72 or 73. So,
Wow. That's cool.
yeah, not too long.
It won't be tomorrow.
Alright,
It'll
I'll
be
take
Tuesday.
this up.
It'll be Tuesday.
Thank y'all.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, and then this is what I call our family gallery. So these are all of Eagle's sister ships. You can see her and the two original sisters. So the Gorge Fock 1, which has been renamed the Gorge Fock. She was built in 1933, so she's the older sister. She's a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller than Eagle. She was actually scuttled in the last years of the war in an attempt to keep her from the Soviet Union. But the Soviet Union was able to refloat her, fix her up, and now she's a working museum ship.
Wow, that's cool.
And then the Albert Leo Schlager was renamed the Sagres. She was originally sold to Brazil.
I've
after the
seen
war.
pictures of that one.
Yeah,
It's still
she's
out
easy
there.
to pick up. Yeah, I think we'll
Yeah.
be seeing her in New York.
Very
So,
cool. Very cool.
So she was originally sold to Brazil, and then later either sold or given to Portugal. So she's currently the Portuguese Navy training.
That's right. Okay, that makes sense.
I like the
Yeah, a lot of I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see the other tall ships in the area, but they're really cool too. So
Well, isn't there something like 30 or 35 of them left? I mean, there's not
there's
many.
not a whole lot. At least the barks and brigantines like we are.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a whole lot left in the world. We saw a lot of skiffs and schooners out there, and probably some technical cutters. We still refer to our ships as cutters, just to hail back to our days of the Revenue Cutter Service when they were all cutters. Nowadays, we don't meet the technical sailing definition of a cutter, but just any of our vessels over 65 feet with overnight accommodations, we call a cutter.
Okay.
So that's how
Okay.
Eagle is a cutter and a bark, even
Okay.
though technically a bark.
I know you have a bar, don't you?
And then right over here is the new Gorge Fock. She was built in 1958 as a replacement for all of the sister ships acquired by us during the war. So she's the baby sister, but she's identical to all of the other sisters.
Beautiful.
We'll be racing her in New York. She's been talking some smack on Instagram, so we'll see. We did previously...
rivalry there.
a little bit.
I love it.
We did previously race her in 1976, and she won purely because the winds died out and she was further ahead. So I don't really know if that counts, but either way, we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen again.
I love
All
it.
right, and then we'll come through here. And then over here we have all of the presidents who have spoken on board Eagle while they were active presidents. So I'm trying to see, we have President Clinton, Bush, Kennedy, and Truman. President Bush was actually a huge fan of Eagle, and anytime he was in Kennebunkport, would call us up and see if we could sail up and say hi.
Cool.
But he did come on board for lunch or another meal with the crew and cadets, and was willing to, take photos and speak with them and everything like that.
I love
so
it.
he did make it worth it.
I love it.
Right, and then just through here. Actually, sorry. Redirecting, we're gonna go back here. Alright, so over here, wait till everyone's able to come in. So over here is all of the different all of the different summer cruises that we've had over the years. So you can see our first training cruise in 1946, where we went to New Bedford, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket. Since we only got across the Atlantic towards the end of the summer, there wasn't a whole lot of training time left, but they still made do with it. And then over here,
Is there one from 1953?
53 is right up here. So Oslo, Antwerp, Santander, and
That's
Les
one my
Palmas.
dad was on right there.
Yep. So we've done a few Goodwill
pretty cool.
cruises since then. I think our most recent international Goodwill cruise, at least, was over here in 23, where once again we went to Oslo, as well as a couple places in Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. It was just to, show our support for NATO and welcome some new countries in.
I love it.
And then over here, you can see that really long sail, so 87 to 88. Actually, yes, so 87 to 88. So I actually recently found out a fun fact about this one. The Australian Prime Minister called up our Commandant and said, hey, can we get the Eagle over for our bicentennial? And the Commandant was like, well, it's during the winter, we usually don't sail then. I don't know if we'll be able to do it, I'm sorry. But a couple weeks later, the Prime Minister was signing a trade deal with our President. As soon as the trade deal was signed, turned around and said, hey, we would absolutely love for the Eagle to come to our bicentennial. Do you think you can make that happen? And the President, being extremely happy that he just signed a trade deal, said, yeah, absolutely, don't worry about it, we'll get him there. So then the Prime Minister left and he turned around to his chief of staff and said, what the hell is the Eagle? And so that's how we got the funding to
There
go to
you go.
Australia.
There you go. I love it.
And then you might see another of our interesting ones is 2020, making port calls to New London, Connecticut, New London, Connecticut, and New London, Connecticut.
Hey.
So that was during COVID. We could not get approval to go anywhere.
Yeah, I believe
Even
that.
Quantico turned us down. So they did get a lot of really good sailing in, though. They were able to go out, chase the wind, spend a couple weeks out in the Atlantic before coming back in to refuel and restock. So probably one of our best sailing years thus far, but probably not the best for training. And then over here is a 1776 copy of the Constitution, the Declaration, my bad, the Declaration. So this is on loan to us by a private collector. So after the Declaration was signed, a lot of newspapers such as the Boston Gazette printed a copy of it and spread the good news to the colonies. And so this is one of the few copies still remaining.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat.
And then I'll step back here and take the time to look through our different port calls. We've been to some pretty cool places. I think we've had a few in Portugal. We have been back to England a few times. We've also been to, I wasn't on board unfortunately, but we've been to Cork, Ireland, which is definitely on my bucket list. I've been there before, but never on Eagle, so that would be incredible. That sounds
That's
awesome.
pretty cool.
All right, taking it right through. And then this plaque over here, which you can probably get a better look at as we're coming through, was the original trip that we made across the Atlantic. So this is from 1946, years ago yesterday. So we limped her over to Falmouth, England from Bremerhaven. As I said, she was very badly neglected in the last years of the war. So we had to fix her up just to get her seaworthy again. And then we limped down to Falmouth, England, and that's where she went into dry dock and had some pretty extensive repairs done. After that, we still weren't sure if she was going to make it. So, we hugged the coast, made it down to Madeira, and then, just had to bite the bullet and go across. So we made it to Hamilton, Bermuda, restocked, refueled there, and then we're happily on our way to New York when they started feeling the pressure dropping and the winds picking up. And they didn't know it at the time, but they were sailing through a hurricane.
I like how it literally says hurricane on there.
Lord.
Awesome.
So at the time, we didn't have any way to really forecast where they were coming from or where they were going,
Yeah.
or a way to communicate any coming hurricane to any vessels out at sea. So the crew were able to feel the pressure dropping. I think LT Geist might have to correct me. So they were using buoy balance law, which I believe is if you put your back to the wind and your right arm out. Okay. So I forget exactly how to do it, but you're back to the wind, and I think you stick your right arm out, and then you're pointing towards the center of the low. So they could feel it coming, and they knew exactly where it was, but they didn't know how bad
My
it was.
dad
until
told
they
me
got
about
back.
that years ago. I can't say I've thought about that in years. That's one of those.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so she was able to withstand it, and then any issues or concerns we still had about her seaworthiness were definitely dispelled then.
Wow. It's amazing.
Hey, come back here.
And then one of the few original pieces still on board, our liquor locker.
Liquor locker. I love
And
it.
yes, we do lock it up when we're underway. But that, in addition to, I should have pointed it out when we were looking at the original name board of Eagle, or the nameplate of Eagle. With the black door behind us, we call it the Fiddly, so it leads to the Fiddly. That's an original watertight door as well. That leads down to our engine room.
Okay. Very good.
Then over here is one of our better known Coast Guardsmen. So this is Alex Haley. You might know him of Roots fame.
Yes.
He also does have a cutter named after him now. But after he left the Coast Guard, he reached out and asked to stay on board Eagle for a few nights to see what it was like on a true sailing vessel.
That's
and he was able to pull some of the inspiration from that for Roots.
Wow, that's
That's
awesome.
pretty cool. God.
And then welcome to our flag cabin. So this is where if we have a high-ranking guest on board, such as the Admiral that we had a couple weeks ago, they'll stay here in the flag cabin. So as you can see, we have this nice seated lounge area. Over there,
United States Navy, arriving.
over there is where they'll eat, and then the door is still open, so we can take a peek in when we go over. Then there's a berthing back there as well. We don't typically tell them, but when we're in anything more than 2-inch seas, it's a complete roller coaster back here. So some people find that
Believe
really
that.
relaxing, other people not so much. So some mixed feelings there. We do still have, I don't know if it's original to this ship, but we do have an old ship's gas lantern on board as well. We don't use it anymore, but as you can see, it has that wide base to hold
Yeah.
enough fuel to, or enough gas to make it through, but then also so it doesn't tip over in heavy
Exactly
seas.
right.
So I was actually shocked to see all of the operational gas lanterns in New Orleans.
That's
I
crazy.
didn't know that anyone still did that, but it's
I
really
can't say I
cool.
knew that either.
Huge. My dad has it like on his house.
Yeah.
Like we have it lit like all the time.
Yeah,
24/7.
it's really cool. I was really happy to see this.
Yeah.
I used to be a Girl Scout counselor, so we had so many gas lanterns, so it made my heart happy.
There you go. Heck yeah.
And then over here is a commemorative painting of Opsail 1976. So this was the largest sail event that we've had in the U.S., but we will be surpassing it this year when all of the tall ships sail into New York for July 4th. So it will be a sight to see. I'm excited.
Well, it's about time after 50 years.
Yeah,
About
well,
time.
you know, I'm excited to see the sisters again. We haven't seen them in quite some time.
What do they call the 250th anniversary? Is it the I don't know.
The 200th was the bicentennial. This we're just calling Sail 250.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
I saw like there's long word, but they're like something by thing.
There's probably a term for it. I don't know. Doesn't fit on a shirt. So
Right.
So then these are all of the challenge coins that we got from the different vessels during Opsail 76, as well as our charcoal portfolio of them. So you can see Eagle here, and then we also have a few others. So the Gorge Fox, we will be seeing again. Words of her today. The Belle, I can't pronounce that. I can't speak French. But the Belle Espoir, I believe. The Marseille, and then a few other of the sisters. And then you might recognize the Argentinian Libertad. So that is the largest tall ship in right now. She is docked a little bit further down the river.
Really?
Or further up the river, I'm sorry. So she's gorgeous. She has an additional mast than us, I believe. Yeah, an additional square rigged mast us, and an additional yard going up. So if you get a chance to go check her out, it's really cool.
Captain, United States Navy, departing.
It's always fun trying to play radio tag. And then over here we have some older nautical charts. So these were used by pilots and other people for, no, it's okay, close quarters in here. So these were used for larger oceanic crossings. So they demonstrate some, what we call perpetual lows. So we have one up on the pole, one up on the pole, one down on the pole. And then there's a few others that move around a little bit. They are influenced by the jet stream. So this also does show that a little bit. But so this was used before the days of in-depth weather forecasting. They were able to use this to get an idea of what they were going to be sailing into, because it did remain pretty consistent throughout the year and throughout the seasons. With El Nino and La Nina, you would have a shift every now and then, but it was pretty easy to predict.
Cool.
And then over here, I don't know if you can see it, we have a sound-powered phone. We do this,
Wow.
I'm not sure if it's still original to the vessel, but it's definitely original to us. We've been using these ever since we acquired Eagle. In the event of an emergency or anything like that, we don't want our radios to get all clogged up with different communications. So different teams will use different radio channels and then different sound-powered phone channels. A nice thing about a sound-powered phone is it also doesn't die. There's no electricity going through it at all. You simply use it by pressing a button on the handle and speaking into it. And the vibrations from your voice carry through. So it's kind of just a very sophisticated camera string.
That's cool. That's cool.
And then, so if you want to look through into the cabin. That is close.
Original furniture from
I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I couldn't tell you to be certain. I know one of the original fittings in here is the sink, though. In the cabin. I don't know why we kept the sink, but we kept the sink.
Sink was fine. They're like, "Doesn't matter."
Yeah, you know.
Say a little more.
When it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Man, there's a lot of brass around here. Golly, there's a lot of brass
A
around
little
here.
bit easier to take care of it inside. But, we
Yeah.
try to pretty regularly outside.
Yeah.
I'm in construction, so I'm a little weird.
Makes sense.
God, look at all the woodwork, Sharon. I mean, this woodwork, this is all original.
Exactly. Yeah, they were doing it
I mean-
for
Isn't that nice? Definitely air.
50 plus years just in the salt. I'm like, that doesn't clean you. It's like they filter it so you wouldn't have like seaweed coming out, but like that was it. So I don't know.
Well, at least there's a filter. I know some guys, man, they'll just go,
Jump in and-
yeah,
yeah.
with the bucket.
Yep.
It wasn't standard printing in that day.
Right here we have some of the original blueprints and sail diagrams of Eagle when she was being built. So somebody found them in some archive in Germany a couple of years ago and gifted them to us.
Wow. That's
So
cool.
they are still in their original German, but our engineers always have a blast of looking at it, especially the whole line drawings.
Oh yeah.
I used to be able to explain it, I can't anymore.
That's cool.
Excuse me, folks, I gotta slide by. Excuse me.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
So that's Captain Nancy, he's our current commanding
Isn't that a neat one?
Actually, I'll point it out now. So this is the Figley door. This is original to the ship. So you open
Wow.
it up and it's a 3-story, pretty steep ladder down to the bottom of the engine room. So
Sounds like a very hard fall.
yeah, luckily there are handrails and most people, you only go in there if you know what you're looking for. So.
Makes sense.
Go ahead, go ahead. Follow.
I had a picture for a long time that has my dad standing right there.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, these are also original. So.
Golly.
So, welcome to the bridge.
Gorgeous.
This is the navigation center of the ship. So, we previously used to use exclusively paper charts. We are one of the few Coast Guard vessels that does utilize paper charts when we're entering and exiting port. So, we do still have a chart table, so our cadets can put their paper charts out and work with it to figure out where we are and where we're going. But once we switch over to electronics to keep them safe, we built this pilot house. So inside is where our logs are kept. This is radar, electronic charts, a couple other things. These are also our small boats. They are motor lifeboats or surf boats, sorry, motor surf boats. So we use them for some training exercises. We also use them, I think 2 years ago, our engine broke and we couldn't get the piece for it. So Air Station Cape Cod was nice enough to come out in a helicopter, drop it out the window with a parachute attached, and then we launched one of those small boats to go pull it out. They also, of course, included peanut M&Ms and other super vital things.
Oh yes, of course.
Love it.
Awesome. They look like mini versions of the Eagle.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah, they're
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for
Indeed.
joining me.
Thanks for letting us know.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thanks, you too.
Well, what do y'all want to do? Y'all ready to go? Or
Yeah, it's kind of hot.
Yeah, it's kind of hot.
go for it then.
Have a great day.
You
It was
too.
Nice to meet you.
Have a great day. There you go. Did you ever hear of the movie called Sea of Lost Ships?
I did not.
It's the story of the early days of the U.S. Coast Guard.
Oh, okay.
This ship was in the movie.
Really?
My dad was the stunt guy he climbed that high one right there
Yep.
in 30-foot seas off the coast of Nova Scotia.
Oh my gosh.
And he says if it was 50-foot seas, it didn't matter. He still had to climb it.
Yeah.
They had a situation where a sail had come loose. It's part of the movie.
Yeah.
But my dad was the one that actually went and actually climbed the rigging and actually did it.
Yeah.
They were about the same size, you know.
Yeah.
But I've only ever seen the movie one time in my life.
I've never seen it. I'll have to.
You can't really find a full version of it anymore.
Oh, that's
But
unfortunate.
it still has a lot of great shots of the
Yeah.
ship and everything.
Okay, yeah, I'll
Check
check
it
it
out
out.
sometime.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, my dad is the guy that's walking away from the camera and climbing up the thing. And when last time I saw the copy I have doesn't have it in it.
Oh, that's
It's
unfortunate.
back in the 70s. A lot of these old films got destroyed. There was a fire up in the National Archives,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and that destroyed a lot of early
Yeah, that's
stuff.
unfortunate.
A lot of early stuff. Well, excellent. Thank you so much.
Of course.
You have a
Thank
wonderful day. All right.
You too.
What? Okay, so our tour is over, so we're heading out right now. Okay, well, I guess I'll just see you back at the hotel then, I guess. Alright. Okay.
Someplace we can get some meat around here.
So he was out. The square or
There's a Jackson Squares down this way.
cemetery. Said he'll come back and say something like 3 minutes around. I don't know.
Okay.
My phone is on fire. I am freaking booked, dude.
Man, you and me both. It was nice being inside.
Oh, yeah. There's something else actually. Because I think just regular tours will only stay on the top level.
I think you're right. We got to go inside and see
Yeah.
everything. Well, not everything. I'd love to have seen the motor.
Yeah.
But now I can see why they didn't allow people down there.
Yeah.